Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Sunday, y'all. It is Sunday. What's today's date? The 26th of January. And I gotta share this because it's weird. I just keep getting this little tickle sensation on my left. Oh, there's something to that. Hold on, that was really an alert on my phone. But I'd also take that as confirmation. I don't know what that means. It's happening right on the outside, like right on the side of my foot, but right below like my pinky toe. Your pinky toe. That Harlem Nights is now coming to mind as I'm saying that. So I don't know what that means, but it's weird. It's like a phantom tickle is happening on my feet. And no, it's not in a place. When I get up, I feel it. When I sit back down, I feel it. At first I was like, is it a piece of lint? Is it a little ant or something I can't see? It's nothing there. So I don't know. Harlem could be significant. New York could be significant. Gangsters could be, I think they were like kind of like, well, of that time they were kind of like gangsters, hustlers type of folks. And it's funny because I actually did I buy books from Goodwill for decoration, but also for interest and discount, like things that I actually would read, but I also buy it to kind of like decorate my my mantle or my TV shelf. And one of the books that I bought that's kind of off-brand from everything else is like quite inspirational and educational and stuff like that. But I bought this Gangsters of Harlem book. And number one, I liked it because it was very clean, the spine of it, the lettering and all that. But I also found it quite interesting. So I don't know, I'm going on a rant here, but you know I never say nothing for nothing. But there's something about New York, and I never call out locations. It's really hardly much at all. But I'm feeling the tickle again. It's weird. My son was born in Harlem. I lived in Harlem for a little bit. My baby daddy's from Harlem. God bless his soul. So I'm in my home church in New York, where I planted roots. In all the years that I lived in New York, I visited many churches, but that First Corinthian Baptist Church was the only one that I saw fit to call home, where I actually joined and became an official member. So there's that. If you're ever in Harlem, definitely drop in. Make sure they're having in-house service, because I think they switch it up sometimes, especially in the winter. Sometimes it's at home, sometimes it's online, but it's a big church with a family spirit, which is why I love it. So I don't know, something about that too. I don't know, honey, but this tickle is weird. What else could that be? And it's not a tingling, it's literally a tickle. Like a little feather is like tickle, tickle, tickle. I know. Wow, the emperor is here with his feet all bandaged and bondaged up. So that, could be, oh man, I'm seeing all types of stuff. Maybe somebody is experiencing some type of paralysis, you know, or there's some type of, I don't know, I'm hearing like some type of Knight of Pentacles is peeking out at the bottom. Some type of like diabetic symptom, you know, because the emperor is a seasoned man, like an older man. Could be, not always, but it could be. So it could be some type of like sensation in the feet, like literally a tingle is registering for me as a tickle, but a tingle that somebody's experiencing on account of some type of like, you know, the effects of diabetes when your feet usually feel it first, you know, when it's at its worst. I don't even want to dig into that too much. But then we got the Queen of Pentacles here. And I got this orb lit. You can't see it, but this tiny little, the little black orb. Wow, what is going on? The Emperor, the King of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles. What's the Knight got to do with anything? And then what's this? The Knight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands. Some type of message or communication. The Hermit. It could be multiple messages coming into a Queen of Pentacles. Multiple propositions or propositions or proposals. There's one that this Hermit energy. Either they're being guided by some type of, they're being guided by their inner light. When I move this, I see the lantern. But of course, it's from some supreme self-expression. Of course, navigating through the inside out. So somebody is being guided with wisdom here with the Knight of Pentacles to come and to make an offer or proposal or some type of proposition. My foot is tickling again to the Queen of Pentacles. This Knight of Wands, there's some ulterior motive with this Knight of Wands though. It's motivated by competition, maybe ego, pride. I feel like somebody's being like, almost like I hear like being put up to this, or almost feeling like they have to make a move or else type of energy. Yeah, look at this with the 9. These cards, yo, it's something about these cards with the 9 of, it's like plain as black and white with these cards. I love them. With the 9 of Wands here, it's like or else. This is like somebody is either being faced with some type of penalty or repercussions if they don't make a proposition. Like this is the outcome, to get your ass beat. Or it's just going to be a very unfortunate, some unfortunate consequence of their resistance if they don't. So this is the motivation behind this Knight of Wands. Ooh, and here's the King of Swords. But this is given to me that this is the energy that someone would project themselves to wow, with the Temperance behind it, like, or is this somebody that is the real deal? I don't know. It's a lot of men here. What the freak? And what's this that wanted to peek out a little bit? So yeah, see all of this over here, this guy over here, he has something invested in this proposition. His own survival, perhaps, and protection, but also something material, or at least that he thinks he's going to get out of it. With the Seven of Pentacles, it may not be likely that he either gets anything or certainly gets what he bargained for. Like, you know, like it's not going to be the return he was looking for his ambitions. This feels like the only somewhat pure offer. I don't know. It feels like this Emperor, this could be the boss or some authoritative figure or figure in power that's like not dispersing, what's the right word, dispatching the, I don't know, like forces, deploying. What's happening? Is this a hit? It could be. This is an intention for some type of assault or aggression or hit or some type of attack on the Queen of Pentacles. That's what this is. And it's being ordered from a higher up, or somebody that could have a lot of power and money is deploying all of these like lower level soldiers. I almost said simps, and I hate simps. I hate that word. I really do. It's just, but these are some simps, the ones that are not in the up, that are not operating in autonomy. I don't care what the threat may be, because that's what it's given, that somebody's feeling threatened. Here's the High Priestess with the 10 of Cups. So whatever this is, like this, especially if it's an attack on this, thank you, confirmation on this Queen of Pentacles, or some woman or figure of some object of prosperity. It could even, again, it could be representing an opportunity or something of value, object of value. But if it's personified, meaning that it's a person under attack, it's protected. We got the Temperance card here. My foot is tingling again. The 10 of Cups and the High Priestess. Like, this is double protection. It's protected by the Divine Mother. Somebody's happiness and future. Wow, yeah, like whatever the plan of action is. Wow, here's the Hierophant. It's a lot. It's very protected, even in the ways in which some may think they have the authority to overrule the law of the land or to breach certain securities. This is telling me that not so. It's like this King of Swords could even be like man protection, like there's some type of ally or authority, official person. This could even be, yeah. This could even be like a an investigator of sorts. This could be a judge. This could be, you know, again, some type of official person or lawyer, or, you know, somebody that has this decision-making power, someone in authority, or that definitely is knowledgeable. This is celestial protection. This is like guarantee here with the 10 of Cups. Like, this is the wealth. This is the fortune. with the 10 of Cups, some type of happiness or happy ending, well-being, blissfulness. And then the High Priestess is here with the Hierophant. That's the masculine and feminine sacred energies. So what is all of that tonight that have ulterior motives that may not even be operating on their own cognition, you know, like, or that may not even be doing what they're doing from the heart, you know, like from their own personal ambitions, is for something superficial or egotistically charged or something like that. Like that's a plan waiting to falter. And I said something about Harlem Nights, and I said, you know, that they were like gangsters back then. I don't know. They kind of were, because it was gunplay and the whole pinky toe. You shot me in my pinky toe thing from Della Reese, I think her name was on account of somebody firing a damn gun. Now, he was, you have to see it. I don't even remember the whole movie, but I know that that was like a pivotal, that's like a classic point in the movie, is when she got shot in the pinky toe. So it's like, and it was like kind of a petty argument, but it was him provoking, it was her provoking him by challenging his pride in front of all the other like men and gangsters, and they all were in like some type of speakeasy or club or something. I forget what it was exactly. I think it was more of a club back then. So that definitely, there's something to that here with the Emperor, and he was an older gentleman too. I think, was it Fred? I'm about to call him Fred Sanford. Was it Red Fox that actually shot her? I think it might have been that actually shot her, Red Fox, in the movie. And Richard Pryor, Jasmine Guy, Gregory, was it Richard Pryor or Gregory Hines? I think it was Gregory Hines. Or was it Richard Pryor? I don't know. I'm mixing it all up. But anyway, it's a classic not old, but classic Black movie set in a very old time, because it was, the setting was like, I want to say like the Renaissance time of Harlem, which was, you know, which is pretty much more classic than when the movie was actually released. So I don't know, you know, cherry pick that as you will, but something here about pride being challenged, maybe authority being challenged by a woman, because that was the issue. She was a very strong, boisterous woman, and she had some stake in that club in some way, because she had a lot of power. So I don't remember if she was like the owner, or I forget what her position was, but she had some value and some authority, whether it was just the strength that she projected or her actual stake in that business or whatever their business was. I wish I could really remember, but I'm telling you, there's got to be something here about it here, that somebody's pride and ego, some authoritative figure, or my toes tickling again, or maybe they've been, as I was talking about feet, there's been some type of incapacitation or disabling of, like some type of disabling of an agenda or an operation that has made someone a target, like a threat to their operation, their business, their profit, probably even more so just their authority and their power. Yeah. And it could just be feminine energy overall emerging as as a resistance to the patriarchy in the toxic way that it has existed, not in, you know, in the balanced, harmonious ways that it gets to exist and coexist and co-create. But then we'll see how the difference here between the Queen of Pentacles and the Emperor, and all these wands of attack in this case as we're seeing it. But it's all panning out to be more of an upgrade. That's the gotcha, is that for every attack, whether it be on a single feminine or on the feminine energy and, you know, frequency overall, particularly the high value ones, it ends up being more of an upgrade, a supercharge, because the divine has intervened to transmute that energy, for especially for those that are in the position to conduct it, and actually transform it into something profitable, prosperous, into, you know, whether it is pain being turned into power, pain being turned into power, you know, everything negative that could be, and I'm saying this is past, present, and future, and it's already been the case from the past into even the present time. But I feel like there's coming an even greater acceleration of support and like surge of progression or advancement. There it is, of advancement, for the purposes of creating balance. Back to this Temperance, that's why I was saying it's like, this is like Mother, Father, God, you know, pretty much causing tower moments where they are necessary, you know, and that could be in many different ways, even in the ways that we see so-called natural disasters happening. Everything is working for the good of the greatest good of all, to restore balance for all, no matter how it looks, how it's perceived or interpreted. That's what it comes down to, balance. And that's what's happening. So it's like allies in human form that are, and the feminine energy isn't exclusive to just woman. It could be just, you know, however you, even as a masculine, identify with the feminine aspect of yourself, nurture it as the Queen of Pentacles does. What's the right word? Nurture and invest in it. You know, the disparity here is between, especially if we're talking about this in a toxic form, between those that don't really value or nurture the feminine aspect of themselves, within themselves, or of anyone else. Why? That's why I was saying I hate that word, simp. I hate that word, because the ones that call other simps are usually the ones that actually are the simps. That's why I hate the word, because the ones that use it the most are the ones that usually sound the most ridiculous. And when we think about that, what is that energy? That's usually, I guess you call them the red pillars, or, you know, those so-called alpha male energies, you know, what is that? The manosphere, you know, all that doctrine, you know what I mean, that ultimately is losing its savor by the day, because behind closed doors, here it is, that energy cannot survive. It never has survived on its own, and it never will. And it's just the machismo and ego of men to men of that caliber to prop themselves up as if they are omnipotent. Omnipotent. When I was saying something about being disabled, or it's like somebody's masculinity, as far as they prize it, has been challenged. And that's the same thing that happened in Harlem Nights. And the drastic response was for him, as she was, going off on the deep end, talking about, challenging his ego, was for him to pull out a gun and shoot her. Shoot her in the pinky toe, like petty, real petty. And I feel like that's the energy that some men that are having a hard time reconciling with who they truly are, and the reality of what they even need from the inside out and from the outside in, which is feminine force. Unfortunately, it may kill some men to actually admit that, as James Brown says, it ain't nothing without a woman or a girl, whatever it is. So it's like, where does the compromise or the surrender with that Five of Swords, where does that, where can there be a peaceful surrender for men of this energy without embarrassment, or without feeling in their eyes emasculated? Which is not the truth. It's all a matter of perspectives. Change your perspectives. Maybe this energy over here, internal reflection, self-awareness, reconnecting with true value within oneself, to know, to find the authenticity of your worth that is not staked in, the machismo and the pride and the ego that is projected. But that's a much harder task, a much more daunting task for some. First of all, to admit is necessary. And then for number two, to actually carry out, So the response has been to try to attack feminine energy, almost to like put her back in her place type of thing. But at this point in time, her rightful place is in the position of power. Like, there should be an empress out here. The only reason why there may not be energetically in this reading at this time is because of this incessant resistance from toxic masculinity in whatever form it expresses itself. This could be general, it could be cultural, it could be global, it could be personal. Someone in your actual life, as personal as the emperor can be, a father figure or some type of boss or figurehead, someone that you may have held a great deal of respect for, reverence for, deference to, that is really having their own internal struggle. That is and now my throat is acting crazy. That is no one else's problem but their own. Some type of chemical imbalance, or like I was talking about diabetes, like an imbalance of something in the vessel that is causing a deficiency in their humanity. Get into that however it comes forth for you. So this could be somebody in your life. I think the point of it is that there's still adverse energies that haven't quite accepted the handwriting on the wall that their pride is no good here. Not in the way that they're looking to deflect it and to assert it. There's a an invitation for purity and pride within one's own self, the true nature of self, but not in a way that it's been deflected in the past, where you don't like something, you just attack it or kill it or, destroy it or repress it. The universe is on the side of the innocent at this time, and the oppressed and the meek and the righteous, no matter what the circumstance, in spirit and in flesh, as it's been exemplified here in every way, shape, and form. It's like the greatest good of all will prevail, no matter what. And I forget what happened to Red Fox after that. I don't know. I mean, Della Reese did have a bruised pinky toe, but I feel like she came back to the spot, and she might have been limping a little bit, but it didn't keep her away. It didn't keep her away from the club. It didn't keep her away from the business, not from what I remember. If I can find that clip and it makes sense to post it, I will. So it's like, no matter what, first of all, no matter what has been done, it hasn't deterred the feminine frequency from evolving and emerging as the powerhouse that she was always destined to be, always anointed to be in her own right, not against or in place of anything or anyone else, but just in her own right. And it won't, is the moral of the story. Like, even with all of our bruises and our bandages and petty infractions and major I was about to say insults, but that's not what I was trying to say. Major insults and injuries. There it is, injuries. Somehow she's still standing. She's still mobile. She's still, right now, just as strong as ever. And I can't remember the movie, but I can imagine that it probably empowered her in some other way to project her force more than it suppressed her not to at all, in Harlem Nights. So let me just get a couple cards on this. Let me shuffle it a little bit. Wow. Yeah, and I don't know about that Knight of Pentacles. I don't know. I've read this before as some type of compensation for heartbreak, and maybe that's what it could be, because I felt like the Knight of Pentacles was definitely more upright in this message than anything. So it could be that, to kind of confirm what I'm saying, that for every infraction and injury and heartbreak and for the dismay that's been incurred, there is something of value to gain from it, even if it's just empowerment, life lessons, strength, new direction, guidance, self-awareness of self-worth, like all of that. But it's something very material on the horizon too. Like, I don't know, it could be, I don't know, like, I don't know what Trump's gonna do, because I feel like, although he's off to a very interesting start, to say the least, I feel in my spirit that there's some surprise element with this term, and I don't know if it's going to come from him directly. It may come on account of his own, a response to his defiance. Like, he's like hit the ground running, so it seems, at least from the propaganda of media, because you never know what's really true or what's really happening, unfortunately. So I don't know how he will yield to the spirit of the times. It could be surprise in how he truly does handle things, and it being different than what anyone could have predicted or projected. Or it could be, like I was saying, like divine intervention that sweeps in, which can't be denied and can't be resisted and must be submitted to. you know, in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how that gets to be. I don't know if it comes from the people, if it could be from the people, but through that surgence of power and support from a divine essence that is, you know, irrefutable, you know, that almost doesn't make any sense, that maybe even be a bit supernatural. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, because it's certainly not going to be anything that it's not going to be 4 more years of what we experienced before. It can't be, because the age is too evolved and advanced for that, in spirit and in flesh, for it to go down like that. But how it's going to go down is really going to be one for the books. I'm kind of curious to see, to be honest, because I don't know. Because, you know, that Emperor card is like, you know, it could even be the Empire, or like, again, a male figurehead like the president, like a boss, you know. So there may be some ways that leadership is just disabled from doing many of the things that they may have ambition to do, and they think it's going to be easy to do so this time around. Like there may be an unsuspecting yield that gets to happen, and in a large sense has to happen for some survival, or for there to be any productivity at all in the nation, that, you know, is almost kind of like twisting the arm of the powers that be / the powers that were. Shout out to Shavi Zane. That will, although it may seem like, here it is, the challenge of power and authority, although it may seem like a blow to ego or to positions of power, on account of pride, you know, and very superficial perspectives, it ultimately, as I said, is for the greatest good of all, for all of our survival and transcendence as a human race, you know, or as mankind, whatever the hell anybody even is in this world, for real, for real. So it's like, it might be kind of a twisting of an arm, where some things, as I said, like kind of have to be submitted to or put into play, maybe even legally or culturally. I don't know, that wouldn't have been the ideal of the so-called powers that be, but it's like no choice, you know what I mean? Like they're just so disabled in the ways in which they may try to carry out business as usual, that they have to do something different. They have to see it another way, or exercise some other agenda, you know, or revamp the agenda of old. I don't know. Let's get a few more. Maybe I should stop it there. I don't know. Let's just get like 2 or 3 more, because I feel like that was enough. And if you take what I just said now back to all that I just said from those cards, it definitely correlates quite seamlessly in terms of, you know, this war, gender war, so to speak, in the nation that really isn't real. Like, it's got to be projected from some other adverse, you know, otherworldly or maybe even interdimensional force that profits from our division as a people, as a species, as a nation, as a world, you know what I mean? But the Calvary is here, is the moral of the story. And it's right now a sacred, unseen force that is working through the conduction of beings that are, you know, willing and open vessels to work for the greatest good of all, first and foremost. But it's about to express itself maybe just even more vividly through those beings, and then it being more contagious, more of a widespread, as an anti to the anti, if you feel me, like almost as like the antivirus of fear. You know, there's going to be this great widespread of love and bliss and joy and happiness that kind of like is the remedy for what, oh man, that's the attack. Child. So it could be like an attack on like women's rights. And you got to be real careful. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but you got to be real careful about the rage baiting here and what you get riled up about, because some of the things, like I was saying, like he's off to a real interesting start, and the propaganda that we're seeing in the media could really rile you up to get upset about things that you feel powerless about. But you're never powerless, and that's the Queen of Pentacles. Like, that's the power of your own prosperity, whether that is materially or monetarily, or just your own personal self-esteem and your awareness of your value within this system and within this existence overall. So you could get sidetracked and distracted with all those wands, those 8 of Wands. That could be information that's coming in to almost distract from what is real. You know, looking at the migrant crisis and deportations and what's being alleged that they're doing with ISIS in different parts of the country, and you know what they're doing to repeal things that were put in place by the last administration. And I'm not saying any of it is right, good, bad, and different. I'm just saying that it's evoking an emotional reaction that is a distraction from what is real, you know, what is true and what can actually be done. There are a lot of things that are being like decreed on pieces of paper that are really worthless in the grand scheme of things, if you're remembering that there are far more of us, whatever us is, people, women, men, you know, well-meaning citizens, than there are of them who are adverse. And it's really just, again, about accepting, being aware and accepting and assertive of your power to just do what you can do for you. You know, the distraction is to incite you to feel powerless, and like nothing that you could do could ever be enough, especially when you see in the grand scheme of the problem or the issue at hand. But what you do for yourself and the value that you carry and create, cultivate, multiply, magnify within your own right, literally, has more of an effect and an impact than even any protest ever could. That is the protest, what you stand for personally. So I'm just saying, like, don't be distracted, because what it looked like ain't what it is. Ain't what it is. And I think that was at that 10 of Cups. It is back to that. Like, it's all protected. I'm gonna close this out. It's all protected. For those that are in the market for it, that are still believing for it. Exactly. Look at that. It's all protected. And these are the divine beings, again, that are in the market for it, for the healing, for the conduit, to be the conduit and conductors of celestial force that actually does make a difference, and that does saturate creation with healing energy, you know. And this could be creatively, this could be energetically, it could be just literally in generating this frequency of affirmation to just, what was that? That was a weird sound. I don't have anything in this place that should sound like that. It was like a, no, like a, that was weird. But anyway, that's that on that star. They know who the real stars of the show are. And they're the only course of action, wow, with the Queen of Wands, the most assertive feminine power, and the Sun. My God, my God. The most assertive feminine and the Judgment. They know. The only course of action, is that the King of Wands? Oh, I thought it was the King of Wands. I would just jump out of my skin. This is the only course of action that they have is to try to, I'm seeing manufacture clones, but really it's like to fabricate distractions that would ultimately confuse the confidence, the assertiveness, even the connection to source that is already aligned, the power. Let's call it what it is. I mean, my God, like I was saying, like this is the authority, this is the judgment. And again, it's not canceling out anyone else's, it's just all its own. And fortified in a source that is pure with all of this energy here. And double tens here, 10, 10, and then we got, this is really what's that, 19, but two tens there, and then another. It's like it's already done. It is finished. All the optical illusions and propaganda and projections that are ultimately just what do you call it, not a decoy, kind of. I hear something about a decoy, but it was something else. Beyond distraction, I heard another word. What was that word? Like when you set something up, it is a distraction, but it's when you like set something up so that, damn, I can't think of the word. It may come up in the title. But when you set something up to appear or look as one thing, but really it's like to take attention off of the real thing. Like a decoy, but it's something else. Like it's an operation that I'm thinking of in that spirit that I can't find the word for, but I think you kind of get what I'm saying. I'm gonna find that word because it's something to that. But anyway, with all of this high-powered energy here, it's expressive, you know, in spirit and in flesh. Again, right here in the flesh, literally between these two energies, and then these, like it's already been decreed, declared, empowered, manifested, and activated. And it's so far ahead of its time, whatever it is, you know, and maybe even that Eight of Wands is the super acceleration of advancement on account of the repression, which I've said many times. It's like the acceleration is on account of how it's like that rubber band effect or that slingshot effect of how long feminine force in general has been suppressed. Now it has no, just the law of physics and universal order is that it has nowhere else to go but forward. It can't be pushed back anymore. It's like no farther back it could possibly go, you know. So it's now like you kind of got to get down or lay down. If you get down with the feminine force from the inside out and the outside in, or you going to lay down one way or another. Your mission, your ambitions will be disabled, and you'll pretty much feel dysfunctional in this world if there isn't compliance with the new order of creation as it is. And that's just what it is. So I'm gonna leave that one there. Yeah, but be careful though. Well, I'll say be alert, be aware, be vigilant, because let's not forget the beginning of the message was this nod to masculine energies. There were, in the Harlem Nights, there were far more men than there were women. And the women, except for Della Reese, were more objectified in their roles in the movie than they were appreciated, or reverenced, you know what I mean? So just be mindful of the masculine forces in your life and how authentic they're showing up or playing out. If you need to do some sifting and some releasing and purifying, so be it. Could be partners, could be friends, could be bosses, or at least putting yourself in a position to protect your own personal energy, to prioritize your healing and the operation of efficiency in your being, from the inside out, mentally, physically, spiritually, energetically, all of that good stuff. Because it's not the priority. Even the men right now that mean well are still learning the dynamics of this new world, even as we women are adjusting to it. Because I'll tell you, in my own personal experiences of healing, I'm still adjusting to the autonomy that I actually, first of all, have always possessed, but that I truly have liberty of. It's almost surreal to consider, just how in control of my life's creativity I truly am, because of the years and seasons and perhaps even lifetimes of conditioning that my control was to be deferred to some other force or source, whether that be humanity or otherworldly, or, spiritually or religiously, whatever the case may be. Even at the highest point of creativity, there is collaboration. No matter how you splice it, people can say, well, if God want to wipe the earth clean and start all over, God can, and God will, if that is that is necessary. But there still is the co-creativity between whatever creation, would even come after that. If it was a start from scratch type of thing, there still would be the co-creativity between the divine and humanity, or whatever the organism of life may be in the earth, if the earth is, preserved, which I believe it is. I believe it's fine, contrary to propaganda, but there's still a this, not a that. And even as it is exemplified in the star energy, it's water, which in this case is like celestial water, with Aquarius being, the ruling energy of this card, and the earth. So we're all breaking free of that mold of confinement and mode of conditioning that is depressing, to say the least, and suppressing. And so as you are evolving in your own right to elevate and transcend as a feminine force, or someone that is highly conscious of their feminine energy, be mindful of what frequencies and influences you have around you, because some of them may mean well and are doing their best, but it's still up to you to protect yourself. And some of them mean absolutely no good at all. And that's from the highest point down to maybe even in your household, you know. So discern that as you will, protect yourself as you may, and keep doing your thing. Whomever resonates with this message, like, you're doing something right. What they say, like, if you don't have no haters, you ain't popping. So that can go for the whole feminine force. And that could just go for you, just trying to live your life to, you know, the highest frequency of your ability. There's always, at least until there isn't, a resistance that comes along with that, that ultimately can be transmuted to advance your agenda and enhance it more than at this point it could ever hinder it. So let them, as Nephilim, she done changed the name so many times, but you know, Nephilim, the angel goddess, says whatever their ambitions are, let them have them, because it can only be for your greatest good and for your highest achievement at this point. So thank you, and good luck and Godspeed to you all that resonate with this message. That thank you was for those that insist on throwing darts and throwing energy that's supposed to destroy you, because certainly if you can see the evidence in your life, it's only evolved you in more ways than one. So again, thank you. We appreciate you. We really do. Now it's time for you to appreciate yourself and turn that energy inward and get on the good foot, literally, with the rest of us. All right. For the greatest good of all of us. Okay. Thank you. All right. That's all I have. Again, now, thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.